pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Presentations. Hey Bob, how are you? Bob Hebert.
I'm well, Steve. How are you?
Good, good. Why don't I make the motion and then get a second, and then you'll give us a short presentation. Does that work?
That'll work. It'll be about a 30-second presentation.
Okay. I make a motion that
We'll keep it short.
Okay, I make a motion that the selectmen approve the request pursuant to section 71-6 of the Code of Ordinance for a sewer connection to construct 108 apartment units and 8,400 square feet of commercial retail space in 5 buildings. And this will be at 101, 103, 105 Laurel Hill Road. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, so Bob, you want to tell us about this?
Yeah, I think you may all remember that we actually have the zoning approval for the 108 units. Earlier last year, we decided to make the change, and we're going to keep the 108 units, but we're not adding the 5th building, which would have the mixed-use development. So that's really the only change. But the purpose of this meeting is we are, the sewer line, we will connect at 101 Laurel Hill Road, and then we're going to run that extension down to, what is it, Quarry Brook, I believe.
Yeah.
It's about 2,000 linear feet, okay, which we will run on the west side of Laurel Hill Road. We went before planning had approved it. It went to WPCA, and I do believe that Nelson is on with us tonight if you have any technical questions, but he made the referral that they looked at, that made the referral, and through the statute that you had just mentioned, it needs to come to the Board of Selectmen, for approval. So that's what the request is. Okay,
so I don't see anything in here from planning.
Yeah, that was in 2014.
2014, is it in here? Or did I miss it?
There was there was a big packet, 3A.
3A, I'm looking at that. I just didn't see a letter from planning.
Yeah, it was April 21st, and I can read it to you. Planning Commission made the following recommendation regarding the above reference 824 referral. And then I quote, to send memo to the Board of Selectmen on at 101, 103 Laurel Hill Road, 824 referral, request number 201400210, approving the 824 referral. Enclosed are the draft minutes of the meeting of April 17th, 2014 Planning Commission.
Right.
And I think that was sent to you by Christy from the WPCA as well.
Okay. I'm just looking at the minutes from the town meeting back then. The minutes from the meeting of January 6, 2014. And it doesn't say that the Board of Selectmen accepted it. It just said, Mr. Tinsley, with no objection from Mr. Flynn and Mr. Davidson, recommend that the board move back to agenda item 1EC, appointed officers of the town. Did they do something later? Let me just.
Okay. What they did at that time was table it.
Yeah. Okay, they tabled it. And there were changes going to be made. Okay, Nelson, can you tell us how the WPCA feels about this?
Do we have to have a feeling?
Well, all right, what's your recommendation?
Yeah, well, the situation is that it would be cheaper for the developer to put the line in himself in Laurel Hill Road. It's a town road, so it needs Board of Selectmen approval.
Yeah.
And and they would make the line to go to Brooks Quarry, and there's already a station there, and that line would be for them, basically. But when they get done with it, because it's in the town road, they'll turn it over to the WPCA for maintenance or whatever. Just
Right,
to,
and then anyone who wanted to, who was on the line, could connect.
yeah, but there's not much there. So
I know, there's not many houses there.
when they turn it over, it's going to be, ours. Let's say it'll be the town, belong to the town, and but that would be the lowest cost way to do it for them. If they have the WPCA do it, then there's going to be, be a little more expensive.
Yeah, it would be more expensive. Sue, Harry, any concerns? questions?
Bob or Nelson, what is the time frame in starting this, and how long will it take to complete?
Bob, you got it.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to answer that. Right now we are finalizing the revisions to our site plan, which will be going before because we eliminated the one building. I've already had discussions with planning, but we do have to take it in and get they at least at the preliminary stage, they didn't have any problems because we're reducing the disturbance of the property.
Right.
So, but we do have to go in. I beg your pardon?
The original plan was under incentive housing, which we no longer have, right?
That's correct. That's correct. We're doing market rate. That was at, I believe, you and I talked about that, Steve, and you felt that the market rate was, preferred by the town because you have an awful lot of incentive housing in the area there. So we agreed that we would make this market rate. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that's, personally, I think that's.
And I did talk to plan.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. So we are going into, we have to finish up to answer your question. We're finishing up the revised site work, which really is just eliminating some of the retaining walls and that we had on the property to accommodate the mixed use building. And so we'll have that site plan done and into the town, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. And we would expect to, our intention is to break ground and start, late summer at the latest, early fall.
Okay.
Now, precisely when would we, with respect to the sewer line, we're working on the development plan right now. I don't know if that's something that we would do initially or during construction or towards the end.
Right.
I'm going to defer to the experts on that.
Right. I think to the town, I don't think it really makes a difference to us unless we were going to be paving that road and we'd want to coordinate with you, but I didn't see it on our paving list. Tom Beecher, any issues? I've not done this before, so I'm not super familiar with it. Any concerns, issues we should be thinking about, Tom?
No, not from the Board of Selectmen standpoint. I mean, you have two roles. One is to approve because, as Nelson said, the road's being opened up. Number two, you would normally also be making a recommendation for approval back to the WPCA.
Right.
Typically what will happen, we'll go down one side of the road and have to fix the whole side of the road, the one half of the road.
Yep.
And then in addition, they'll be subject to the 2% capital cost recovery fee, Bob. So
Say 2%, say that again.
2% is called a capital cost recovery fee. It's like you'll contribute to the infrastructure of the WPCA with that, for the whole rest of the infrastructure and any new structure, whatever the grand list value strike is, whatever it is, it'll be 2% for districts where there's no bond anymore. which
And
would be-
Nelson, we're comfortable that we have enough capacity to do this in the WPCA?
You and I had the meeting with
I know.
former mayor, and he promised he would give us the capacity. And I just have to cycle back to nail that to the ground.
Okay, you'll cycle back to them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve, I have a question for you. What is the condition of Laurel Hill Road? Is this something that we would want to put, if we're going to be tearing up half of the road in that area, would we want to repave that whole road at that point or no?
I think that would be a good idea if, Bob, you would coordinate with us and, pay for half the road. You're going to have to dig up half of it anyway and repave it. And we'd probably like to do it at the same time. I think that's a good point, Harry. If we could coordinate that, we pay for half, you pay for half. It's no additional cost for you. And we could probably get our guys to pave it cheaper than you could.
Yeah, we'll be happy to coordinate that with you, Steve.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
that makes sense. If that road is, needing repaving, we'll definitely coordinate that. with them.
Yeah, I'll check with Ralph Tedesco. I know it's not on this year's list to be repaved or remilled, but I'll check that.
Steve, I have one more quick question for Bob. Bob, I am glad you're going through with this project. This was one that I thought that could really benefit both you and the downtown. When you say it's going to be market rate, is it going to be 100% market rate, or is it going to be labeled as a market rate but still have 10 to 20% of affordable?
Well, technically, it's going to be market rate. If you look at the affordable guidelines, they're actually pretty close to what the market rate is to begin with. The only difference is that, our rents are going to range. We are adding. We made some minor revisions to our floor plans after we got our market study. We originally had contemplated 1 and 2 bedroom units. The market study had recommended that we put some studio units in there. So we're adding, I believe it's 4 studio units per building. So the studio units are going to fall well within the affordable rates anyway. And I think most of the 1 bedrooms will fall within that. But it is market rate. So it'll be, we're not going to be deed restricted to hold at a 20%, affordable number.
Right. And what's
Steve?
the market you're going after, Bob?
There's a couple of areas, Steve, that we're looking at. One, we're looking for school teachers, police, fire, managers at the retail levels, nurses, technicians. Because kind of the eds and meds play. In addition to that, the way we have the project designed, it's going to be very attractive to empty nesters. And we like that market because these people stay there for a long time.
Yeah,
And it gives them a quality place to live without having the expenses of exterior maintenance and maintaining a home. Yet they can stay in the area where their children and grandchildren are and so forth. And there's a big market for that. And I would expect that could represent 25, 30% or more of our base, of our target list. And then of course, like I say, teachers, it'll be very affordable for teachers, young professionals, police, fire, and medical staff.
Right. Sue, you had a question?
I was just wondering, for the affordable, are we in a position right now where we're hitting the percentage that we need? And I know we're going after our moratorium again, so.
We haven't gotten the final results from our lawyer looking at it, but right now, we've grown to 4.4%. And when we first applied, we were at 2-point-something%. So we've increased the affordable in town significantly, and I think it would qualify. There aren't hard and fast rules, but we think it will qualify.
I just
do that
know
in the
that the
next couple
senior
weeks.
center is getting calls constantly of people who, do want to downsize and looking for an affordable place to be able to stay in town. And I guess my other concern with, what Harry had also is the condition of the road, and was the town gonna,
Yeah.
approve it before we, completed it. So if we can, tie in together and get the road paved, that's great.
Yeah, I think Bob's right. That, the cost of affordable housing versus market rate is off 75, 100, $125 a month. The advantage is Bob can raise his rents whenever he wants. We don't have to track it at the town on the deed level. It's a lot of work to track this affordable housing. And you have to file all sorts of reporting every single year. So I think that's a good thing right now. That's a good thing.
Well, the other thing too, Steve, I would like to add is the people that we're going to be attracting in there. These are the people that are going to be able to support especially particularly the new businesses that have, that have come up in that area there, the restaurant and the other, businesses. So, these people are, the market that we're attracting will be able to, to support those businesses, which I think will be a significant boost to that area.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sidewalks will allow them to go to the four corners, walk there. Is that right, Bob?
Go ahead, Bob.
The original plan did call for a sidewalk, down on Laurel Hill, but we're also going to make it. I already had a conversation with the new owner of the bowling alley. We do have in our site plan, we have on our property, a walkway that would connect with the bowling alley property. Now, of course, we would need to have the approval from the new owner to make that a technically official easement or a walkway for our residents to be able to connect with the walk out the back of our property.
We very much want to make
the bowling alley.
Everybody, if you could do that, that would be a big plus.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah, that's what our intention is. Our intention is, he was thrilled to hear about our plans because that'll support his, bowling center, and from my understanding, he's making that more of a destination point at this point in time. And it'll bring people to the restaurant and and the entertainment part of it for him too. So I'm sure he'll be. We discussed it many months ago at a very high level, and he was receptive to it.
Okay,
Bob, I have one more quick question. I'm sorry, and are you going to be able to have? I'm hoping that you will have the capability of. One concern that I have with the studio apartments is someone coming in and renting and end up with 4 and 5 people living in there. And so are you going to have the capability of making sure these people qualify on their own, at that rent level, so that we stay away? It's bad for you, it's bad for your complex, and it's bad for us, because I know that we have that in some of our other buildings, and I just want to try to
No, I'm aware of that. Thank you for bringing that up. No, we are going to have a professional management company that will be running that. We have a set of, policies, procedures, and protocols for qualifications for, and then the things that they're going to be able to, what they can and cannot, do on the property. That will be strictly governed because obviously, we want to protect our asset and make it, a pleasant community for, all the residents that are going to be there. So yeah, that will be, that is the plan. Like I said, professional management, and we will make sure that we'll have the oversight to make sure that's enforced.
Great, thank you.
Subletting?
Great.
Thank you, Bob.
And
No
that'll put
subletting?
limits on how many people can live in each unit?
Yeah, that's going to be governed. Yeah, because you're going to have 1 and 2 bedrooms, so and the studio. So typically, your studios, generally be, one person, or generally single people or individuals. The 1 bedrooms, there'll be a mixture of couples that will be living in those and singles, and the 2 bedrooms. You could have 2 to 3 people typically that might be in a 2 bedroom. Yeah, I mean, these are going to be open floor plans. Are going to be nicely appointed, but the units very candidly are going to be they're going to be designed. They're designed. They're designed for like I said, the target market of young professionals and the empty nesters.
Okay.
So if we're not putting a swimming pool in. We're going to have a walking trail. We will have a community room for them, but it's really designed for people that, like I said, we'll probably have some kids there. I don't know. I can't guess as to how many, but again, the vast majority of the units are going to be studios and 1 bedrooms.
Okay.
No subletting allowed?
No, I can't. I wouldn't. I mean, certainly not without a pre-approval. I mean, that won't be permitted in the lease. Now, if somebody came to us with an extenuating circumstance and they wanted to, get out of their lease, if they bring somebody else in with our approval, then, we would, certainly consider that to take over that lease. But as a rule, no, because typically in the apartment and the rental space, they're typically 1-year leases. So there may be some instances, especially when we're in the lease up period, we may offer some incentives for a 13, 14, or 18-month lease, just so we can space out the leases and not have all 108 units, come due at the same time.
Right.
So, but typically they're 1-year leases, and there's not our experience is there hasn't really been a big need for, sublets, because we're not doing, 2, 3, 4, 5-year leases.
Thank you.
You mentioned sidewalks. I would love to think that that's going to stay in on the road rather than people having to walk through the parking lot of the bowling alley.
Yeah, the sidewalk, keep in mind, the sidewalk would run from our, in front of our building on Laurel Hill.
Right.
Now, I don't know, I don't believe there are sidewalks in front of are there 2 or 3 houses that run from 101 to Station Road and up
Correct.
Station Road. So I don't know, if those people are going to want to put sidewalks in, but we would certainly we would comply with the existing approval of having the sidewalk and run along Laurel Hill in front of our properties.
Okay, great. Okay, any other questions, comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Carries 3-0. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you, Nelson, for participating tonight, and certainly pass my thanks on to Christy for all the great work that she did. And thank you.
Okay.
Have a good week.
Look forward to working with you.
All right. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Okay, next we have is monthly agenda items, announcements. Coronavirus, I'll give you a quick update on that. We had 69 cases as of last Friday. That was the same as the week before, so they're down substantially. The positivity rate is about 5.3%. We are running clinics on Thursdays and Fridays at the senior center. We requested, and I believe got 600 doses for this week.
Awesome.
We will be running a clinic on Saturday, the 6th, at the senior center for teachers and school employees. We have requested Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and if we get awarded that, we'll know that tomorrow or Wednesday at the latest. We'll set up additional clinics, and we'll advise people when those clinics will be. There has been a problem. We talked about it before the meeting, just briefly in the go round, that there is significantly more demand for the vaccine than there is supply. So that age group of 55 and older became eligible as of today. There are about 500,000 people in Connecticut who qualify. Anecdotally, we're hearing people here got appointments in the 3rd week of March. I've heard that some people have not been able to get appointments till the end of April. We do expect that to change for the better as more supply comes out and it ramps up. There's no doubt in my mind that the ability to deliver vaccine far outstrips the vaccine supply. So I think that any supplies we get as a town or as a state, we'll be able to give those out. And Brookfield is more than willing, if we continue to get more supply. We're planning on ramping up and moving to St. Joe's if we can get enough supply so we can do even more vaccines. And we're going to continue to do that, I would think, until there's no longer a need for that at St. Joe's. There will be some costs involved in moving to St. Joe's. It's going to be about $250 a day for heat, Wi-Fi, and cleaning. St. Joe's has been nice enough to donate the property to us, but we don't want them to be out money. We want to pay for any additional expenses they have. The good thing is we do have all of the funding from the various grants that we have that will pay for it. And we also have our COVID contingency, which we still have about a little less than $300,000 left. So I think we're in very good shape there from a funding standpoint. And I just, again, want to thank, we had 50 people volunteer, and every person to a person who has come to Brookfield and commented to me and gotten their vaccine at Brookfield said it was a wonderful experience. It went quickly, smoothly, and safely. They felt very safe when they came here, and that's a big plus. We're still trying to help those people over 75 and some over 65 who don't have computers. I had a lady last week call me Friday night around 7 o'clock. She's 76 years old. She works in the Danbury high school cafeteria. She doesn't have a computer. She doesn't have an email address. She's just got a regular flip phone. She doesn't have a smartphone. And so we were able, and people have been asking about getting on a waiting list for our vaccines for people who don't show up or have to cancel. We don't have a waiting list, but if there's someone we know that needs the vaccine and qualifies, it is possible we will call them. Typically on any given day, we'll have 2 or 3 doses available at the end of the day, some days none. It's not worth getting on a waiting list of 100 people for that with the hope that you'll get on there. So we were able to get that lady in, and she did get the vaccine. And that's exactly who we want to get to, our older residents who are at most at risk. So it's going very, very well. And I want to thank the volunteers and Dr. Sullivan, our Director of Public Health, who has been working nonstop with Maureen Farrell to get this done. They've been doing a great job. Okay, any questions on that?
Yeah, I do have 2 quick ones. Of the 69 cases last week, as of last week, do we have any idea how many were, do we have a breakdown of how many were atypical, how many had to be hospitalized?
No, they're not telling us that. They just tell us the number of cases.
Okay.
But you can interpret from the state data, the hospitalizations are going down quite a bit. And I think as soon as we get everybody over 65 vaccinated that wants to be vaccinated, you're going to see that number drop precipitously. It's going to really go down because that's the majority of the cases.
All right, and how again, I think we spoke of this briefly, you and Sue and I. People who are homebound, who cannot get out, I know that you have the red alerts or code reds, and I know that we have a website, but probably 80% of the people don't do social media and don't go on there. How do we get them information?
We're asking those people to call. All of them have probably heard about it in one way or another. We're asking those people to call our Department of Public Health. We do plan to go out and give vaccinations to the homebound, those who absolutely cannot get out. You can imagine, we do have limited capacity to be able to do that. It's a lot of work. It's 2-3 people have to go out together, but we're going to try to get to everyone who is homebound and qualifies.
Okay, thank
We're
you.
doing that now. But if anybody asks, call the Department of Public Health, right? And tell them your circumstances, and then we'll try to arrange to work through it and give you the vaccine. It is difficult to do because the federal and state rules are really tight about where you can actually give out the vaccine. Now, I think they're opening that a little bit to do the homebound, but until a couple of weeks ago, you couldn't move from your site. If your site was a senior center, you couldn't move your vaccines away from that center.
Well, I spoke with our public health department, and they said, yes, if people call in, they're formulating a list, and yes, they will be able to go out to their homes and get it done.
Yeah, it may take a little while, but we're going to try to reach everybody.
Thank you.
So that's a good question. Town's budget process, if I could just go over that real quick. Let me pull that up. I'll just give you some quick numbers. The Board of Selectmen met last Friday until until about 9:30. We did come up with a budget, and we'll just give quick numbers. Town operations are going up. We're requesting a 1.6% increase. The Education Board of Ed is a 2.98% increase. Capital or other is a 54% increase. Debt service is up 17%. Now the drivers on capital, that seems like a big increase. You got to remember, last year we couldn't bond any of our projects at all. So about $1.9 million worth of projects got delayed, and most of them got into this year's request for bonding. So that's why that number is up. The overall increase after the grand list is calculated, people's taxes and the mill rate, people's taxes will go up 1.49% over last year. So that's a number most people are concerned about. How much are my taxes going to go up? And that's 1.49%. So I thank the Board of Selectmen for all the work you guys did. That was not an easy process. We got it through. I sent all the boards today the budget that the Board of Selectmen agreed to on Friday and submitted it to the Board of Finance. And we're going to be making a presentation together tomorrow night on the Board of Selectmen budget. And then the Board of Finance will take it up and go from there. Any questions on that?
No.
Shouldn't be. You guys know it inside and out. Right? We do have one correspondence, a letter from Jean Harnett. And then our next item is the monthly financial update. Marcia, would you like to give us an overview?
Yes, I swear that you guys, there's a conspiracy that my husband comes in and the dog starts barking just as it's my turn to come on here. But we are good on the budget, on revenue and on expenditures. We've got some budget adjustments that we know, further budget adjustments we know we have to make. For example, a big truck broke down. I got an email from Ralph today, but he thinks he'll have some money in a different line item. This is the month we meet with all the departments, and then we start meeting more and more frequently as we go along. But we will probably come to you with budget adjustments again for your April meeting.
Steve, you've muted.
I muted myself because my heating makes a lot of noise. Any questions or concerns or issues on that? Marcia, I know we don't have any major changes that were on target for revenues and expenses. There are no surprises in the budget. And next month we could get a written report. Yeah, I know we've been going crazy with the budget.
That is
okay?
correct.
Yeah, Steve, I just have one thing. I don't know how many people are going to watch this, but I want to make sure that I publicly thank Marcia for her work and everything that she brings to the table every day for this town. We are really privileged to have you, Marcia, and I'm very proud. I'm just very, very proud of our financial department. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank
They
you
do
very
a phenomenal job and make it easier for all the boards. It's just incredible. I second Harry's words. Sue, any
I'll
questions?
third. Yes, Marcia was a great help to us. Yeah.
Hey, we agree on something. That's what
Yes, we do. We usually do,
we
Harry.
do.
Come
We
on.
do. We do.
But again,
Not
thank you.
everything, but we do.
Yeah, we really do appreciate that. Okay, moving on to new items. This is scheduling of a town meeting referendum date to consider capital projects and establish the May 18th, 2021 referendum date in order to have the capital projects and the town and school operating budget included on the same referendum. A town meeting is required to be held 45 days prior to a referendum for any borrowing and any issuance of bonds or notes in excess of $1 million as stated in the town charter, section C8-8C. So the motion I would make is that the selectmen, in anticipation of the Board of Finance action on the fiscal year 2021-2022 capital projects, approve scheduling the date of a special town meeting on Tuesday, March 30th, 2021 at the Brookfield High School Auditorium to consider the capital projects and to establish a referendum date on May 18th, 2021. Do I have a second?
I'll
I'll
second.
second that. Do we have a time, Steve?
Time? What do you mean time?
7 p.m. for the meeting?
Yeah, 7 p.m. I'm sorry, 7 p.m. So I amend my motion to include 7 p.m. Do I have a
I'll
second?
second the amendment.
Harry makes the amendment at 7 p.m. All those in favor, any discussion?
I do have a question. I had read recently that the governor has not rescinded his whatever it was called last year, where you couldn't have a referendum. Is that
No.
true?
Right now, as everything stands, the governor's executive orders are going to expire on April 19th.
Okay.
So as of now, as of the 20th, we're back to exactly where the charter and the statutes normally put us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
you,
that will allow.
Well, and you got to remember the executive order last year was worded very, very carefully. It said you could hold a referendum if you could do it safely.
Yeah.
But virtually no one except for one town who
Yeah.
has like 500 residents felt they could do it safely. Now that we've done the presidential election, even if the governor does extend his executive orders, I think we can have a referendum safely. And I think people.
oh, I agree too, but I just want to know that the state is, going to be backing us up on this. That's all.
Yes, yes.
We don't expect him to extend this.
I have no idea what he's going to do.
Not at the moment. I don't have any inside word either way as to what's going to happen. I think the legislature really kind of wants to get back to work. And so there may be some things that they'll defer to the governor, but I think in large part, a lot of these issues are going to be handled by the legislature, including, and I doubt that they'll finish in time for our budget process, but they may address rules concerning absentee ballots.
Yeah, my guess is he's going to extend some of them, but not all of them. Right? I think he's going to.
I agree with you, Steve. We were able to have the presidential election. We did have a town meeting last week. I would anticipate it be able to go through, not a problem.
Yeah, I think we're going to be able to do it all safely.
I don't want anything stopping us. Okay.
Right. So no further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 3-0. Updates. We have consent agenda. I make a motion. Remind me, I have to add a suggestion to add one thing to the agenda, but we'll do that after this. I recommend that the selectmen approve the items on the consent agenda, and that includes selectmen approval for routine matters of a residential lease agreement renewal for 8 Nabby Road, and assistance agreement for a steep grant on the town hall redesign phase 1 project, which we've discussed a number of times. The minutes of the Board of Selectmen meetings for February 1st, February 3rd, February 3rd special joint Board of Selectmen meeting, February 7th, Board of Selectmen budget deliberations, February 18th, Board of Selectmen budget deliberations, February 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, all Board of Selectmen budget deliberations. And we do have one employee change, a new hire. Sean O'Neill is going to be our tree warden. And we would be releasing one driveway bond on 13 Foxtail Lane, number 2218, and release an excavation bond on Green Ridge Drive at Tower Road, release an amount of $1,000. That's the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion, questions, concerns?
Uh-uh.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, carries 3-0. Additional monthly agenda items. I would like to make a motion that the Board of Selectmen add to the agenda tonight, discussion and approval of the board resolution, the bond resolution for the Candlewood Lake Road water line. We got the documentation from bond council today, and this would be approving the bond resolution and in keeping with Executive Order 7S of the governor, which allows us to approve a project without a referendum if it's over $1 million in the amount of $1,939,750. I'm going to just read this. So the resolution is appropriating $1,939,750 for the planning, design, construction, and reconstruction of the Candlewood Lake Road water main project and authorizing the issuance of not exceeding $1,939,750 of bonds, notes, and obligations of the town in the same amount to finance the appropriation and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. So for discussion, the Board of Selectmen has already approved this, but just to be clear, so everybody understands what we're doing, I thought we would approve the bond resolution also and confirm the amount. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 3-0. Thank you very much. We do have some appointments this month.
You're muted.
I swear I didn't touch my computer. Okay. I would, so this is appointments. I would make a motion that the selectmen appoint Kerry Colombo, Democrat, and Fred Converse, Democrat, to the Brookfield Arts Commission for term of office of 3/1/21 to 2/5/24 as recommended by the DTC. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Mhm.
Aye.
Aye.
Carries 3-0. Now we move to public comment. Do we have any?
Steve, before you go to public comment, I just want to go back to item, the capital projects.
Yeah.
Did the Board of Selectmen formally approve this actual capital projects
Yes.
already? So I just wanted to be sure that the Board of Selectmen had already approved the
Yeah.
project and the financing.
Mhm.
Yes.
And tonight you were just doing the town meeting and the referendum.
To be exact, the Board of Selectmen approved our capital projects plan on Friday along with the operating budget.
Are we talking about the same thing? Tom, are you talking about the budget for the cash and bonded capital projects, or are you talking about the water line?
No, I'm talking about item 4A. Because it's going to a special town meeting and referendum, I think it would be wise for the Board of Selectmen to add that to the agenda tonight and vote on it separately as opposed to as part of the budget.
Oh, you want to vote separately on the 2021-22 capital projects?
Correct.
Okay, so I make a motion that we add that to the agenda to discuss and possibly approve the capital projects as put forward by the Board of Selectmen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second? Okay, the discussion is, the motion would be, tell me if I'm wrong, Tom, that the selectmen approved the capital projects, both bonded and cash, that was approved by the Board of Selectmen special meeting on Friday, the 26th, was it? 25th? sure which day it was.
26.
And as you have the list that I sent out to you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second. Any questions, concerns, issues on that?
No.
No? All those in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Does that meet your need, Tom?
Thank you.
No, that's a good idea. Just belt and suspenders, right?
Right.
Okay, that's approved. And now we have public comment. Does anybody like to make public comment?
I don't think we have any public.
No?
Okay.
Ginny just called me. Hold on a second. Can you bear with me one sec? Wait a minute. Let me just answer this call real quickly. I apologize.
I learned how to read lips, I think he's ordering pizza.
It sounded like Ginny was trying to get a hold of him. So
What did we
my
do?
question was, when do we think we can go back live?
Yeah, yeah. Tom,
I
the other
like this
night,
commute.
the time the other night that we had, when we were with the budget is just, I don't want to say it's more effective. It's just, I don't know. It just, I think it's more effective. I don't know.
Mhm.
It was nice to be able to sit and talk without
Okay,
talking over.
Jenny can't talk, but she raised a good point that when in our resolution for the bonding resolution, that we should have added and forward to the Board of Finance for their approval, just to be perfectly clear and approve it. So I would make, Tom, is this okay? Can we just make an amendment to the prior?
Yes, because you're still in the same session.
So I would make a motion that we amend the motion that we made on approving the Candlewood Lake water line, that we approve the $1,939,750 and forward to the Board of Finance for their review and possible acceptance. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second.
Harry seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that makes it a little clearer, right? And to note that the bonding resolution, I should say, because our bond counsel wasn't sure whether we would approve it first or the Board of Finance would approve it first, that it does say, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Finance, having reviewed the proposed Candlewood Lake water line project, approves an appropriation and borrowing, la, 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 right? Does that make sense? Except for the la, la, la part, right?
I'm not sure what that was, but.
Yeah. So I think that covers us, right, Tom? Because they're going to get it next week.
Yes, you were approving the actual language of the bond resolution, and you're making that essentially a recommendation to the Board of Finance for them to approve as well.
Correct. Okay. So I'm glad that Ginny called me because we did miss that. It's a small thing, but okay. So now can we move to public comment? John, you want to say anything? You've stayed with, no?
Nope,
Okay.
I'm here listening, taking it all in, observing.
I don't see anybody else on, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Great. All those in favor? Well, any discussion? All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Good
Appreciate
night,
it.
everybody.
All right, talk to you soon.
Good night. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Good night.